like to call to order the Public Works and Safety Committee meeting this evening at 10:20 at 5:38. Okay, and could you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Madden.
Here.
Alderman Bilge.
Here.
Alderman Decker.
Here.
Director Kreger.
Here.
Chief Westfall.
Here.
Okay, and statement of public notice.
Meeting was noticed in accordance with Wisconsin open meeting laws on October 17th.
Perfect. All right. So let's talk about the road program 2025.
Yep. So just to kind of let everyone know, it's all been completed. There's one punch list item that's left, and that is at the library. The contractor is working to get that one done. We submitted our LRIP request to Waukesha County, which then goes to the DOT for our LRIP funds. And then we are pretty much getting ready and looking forward to the road program for 2026. That's it.
Awesome. Okay. PP2 2425.
This is our MMSD, that's Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewer District, PP I&I program. So the project is complete. We have no items left on the punch list. We are always monitoring for restoration for grass or any sinkholes for it. The last thing that we're doing right now is wrapping up our invoice reimbursements to Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewer District. So this project has been wrapped up as well for the year.
Anybody have any questions? Nothing. Okay, Chief, what's new?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'm just going to comment on the crash that we had this Saturday. I sent you a copy of the press release. I will share some more information regarding that. Obviously, the flock cameras that the Common Council funds and invests in is the reason why we were able to locate this vehicle based upon a hit from the Milwaukee Police Department that entered it in as a wanted vehicle in terms of homicide. We initiated a pursuit westbound on Janesville Road that reached high rates of speed. Ultimately, the suspect crashed into two individuals where there was one occupant or driver with minor injuries and a second driver with significant injuries that was transported to the hospital. I don't take these decisions lightly, but understand we have to hold those that are accountable whenever we're dealing with this. The district attorney, whom I talked to on Saturday as well, I've had conversations with expressing my frustration with someone that had an extreme multi-page felony record, was on our streets and on the streets where my children drive around. And I take this extremely seriously, but ultimately they were charged based upon the investigation of our officers with 2 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of THC, second or subsequent offense, hit and run involving injury, hit and run involving great bodily harm, fleeing an officer creating bodily harm, and then fleeing an officer causing great bodily harm. This person will be held accountable in Waukesha County, and I will make sure that we contact the district attorney's office to make sure that we prosecute this individual to the fullest extent of the law. That is something that we can't tolerate here in the city of Muskego. I applaud our officers for their restraint and their ability to overcome and get this person into custody. At the same time, I pray for the victims of this case, for the suspect to cause this and chaos and mayhem in our community is ridiculous. With that, moving on. This Wednesday, we have our concealed carry weapons class that's conducted by our PFC president, Mike Cuspa, who's an expert witness when it comes to firearms and a longtime firearms instructor. This is done in conjunction with the Citizens Academy Alumni Association. And next week, Monday, we have another great event that's here at City Hall. It'll be in the parking lot. It's our trunk or treat event. The Citizens Academy will be also hosting a spaghetti dinner as a fundraiser at that event. If you have not stopped out at it before, it's pretty nice. With that, and I know, Scott, we've gotten inundated the last, about week or so with individual trick-or-treating, block parties, et cetera. And we'll make sure that we're monitoring and making sure that those are all in a safe capacity, in this upcoming, I'll call it holiday week, but it's a great thing in Muskego. It's a great thing that we make sure that the community is safe. That concludes my report, bearing any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Chief? Thank you, Chief. All right, we have no unfinished business. New business, discussion, update, and possible action may be taken. Gulfview Estates development request for ditches versus curb and gutter. You're up, Scott.
Okay, let's get to the map. That one right there, that's a good one. Okay, so we're gonna give you a little history about everything that's happening. So right there in the yellow is where Gulfview Estates is, if you look at the map, okay? It is on Ryan Drive right there. You have North Cape, you have Boxhorn Drive, if you're familiar with it. Why this is kind of familiar for a lot of people. So back, just to kind of let everyone know, back in February of 2024, there was a preliminary plat that was approved by council at February 2024 for a 19-lot conservation subdivision. Okay, so what's happening though is, as you'll read, I'll go through the next memo, is all the lot sizes were under acre. The Public Works and Safety, we approved this plan in April of 2025. So before you all started, we had all the engineering done, we were ready to go, everything's ready to go. So the developer went out, they started getting a lot of bids, and they realized that also with this, they were supposed to put a walkway path that went from one side of Ryan Drive all the way over to Boxhorn Drive. And that was part of the 19 conservation. And due to the cost of that and other costs, they would like to pull back and come in and request that they change their yield to a 15-lot yield from a 19-lot yield, and then go back to everything that's over an acre, which allows us then to, if they're over 44,000 square feet, there is in our code that they can come and ask us, just the Public Works and Safety Committee, to have ditches instead of curb and gutter. That's the only thing that you guys are looking at tonight, okay? Just the request to have ditches instead of curb and gutter, all right? Before I go forward, any kind of questions or anything? Because it went through everything, and now whatever they do here, they also have to go back to Plan Commission, have to go Common Council. It's like starting over, all right? Just to let everyone, yeah.
Was it originally approved for ditches?
No, it was approved for curb and gutter with 19 lots, okay? Because they were under that threshold, okay? So now they want to do 15 lots instead of 19, and because everything is over the requirement, they are allowed to ask you guys for a recommendation that would go to Common Council to do ditches instead of curb and gutter, okay? So you guys know where it is now on the map, all right? So developer wants to go back to the original yield plan of 15 lots that are 44,000. On behalf of, and when I say yield plan, if you go to the other, Wendy, can you show the other map just to show them what? Okay, that's the yield plan. You guys should all have a copy. That is the 15, what a 15 lot is. The original one is the top one that you guys have is the 19. That was the original yield. Okay, just for you guys to get a little background on this, all right? They would also request that it was, the idea when you do ditches is called the rural cross section, considered more than an urban with curb and gutter. They would still have sanitary sewer, they would still have water main, they would still have to have stormwater, except for instead of storm sewer, it would be swales that would get the water to the ponds instead of storm sewer, okay? Some of the reasoning, and they're gonna come and speak after we get this, is the cost of the curb and gutter and storm sewer make the development too costly to construct. Plus they feel that it'd be unique development if attracted to future residents of Muskego. Like I said, they would still be installing sanitary sewer and water to serve the lots, and there'd still be stormwater management. There'd be ponds out there. It's just also, like I said, it'll be swales instead of storm sewer that'll be directing the stormwater. This still also needs to go back to a preliminary plat and final plat approval through Plan Commission and Common Council. And whatever you guys recommend still needs to go to Common Council for their full approval. All right. So The only thing that, based off of what, if you could go back to that first one. Yep. So planning and engineering, our recommendation for you guys is, it seems like it would still be a good candidate for curb and gutter. And one of our main reasons is, if you look at the map right here, everything in pink is curb and gutter. The whole area around there, even some of the latest ones, which was Burbeck's development on the far left, which was Muskego Lake Estates, that's curb and gutter. Champions is curb and gutter. If you look north of this, you start running into, there's Mallard Reserve, Astor Hills, and then it's Boxhorn Reserve. All those have curb and gutters. So the thing is, it's kind of filling in that area of having an idea of curb and gutter, okay? These are also the one caveat. If they go to ditches, we are out for maintaining ditches in these certain things. For example, two of the last ones, there's called Madison Court, and Baszler Court. The ditches on there are all owned by the private individual lots, and they maintain the ditches. We do nothing with it, and it would be part of the code and in the developer's agreement, just to let everyone know. That is one of the caveats if they do go with ditches. We like it because it's cleaner look. Maintenance due to not needing to maintain the ditches and would otherwise be present. Curb and gutter also help ensure that vehicles are not parked on the edge of lawn areas, which can often upset residents and can lead to erosion and rutting issues. All those things, if they would happen, that would be all the individuals that would take care of it. All right? We still plow the roads, everything like that. It's just that we don't maintain the ditches. The roads would become public as well. All right. Any questions? And then the developer would like to kind of speak.
Sure.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, right in that area, we have a lot of water issues down there,
It's wetlands, and that's what stormwater would be. Still, they would still have to follow all the codes with DNR, MMSD related to stormwater. Okay, which means some type of ponds, some types of swales, just no storm source. You can convey stormwater with just swales, but you would still have to have the ponds and everything. So, yep, Oliver.
In your experience, which does a better job of getting rid of the water or draining the water, swales or curb and gutter?
Each way can work. I've seen positive done both ways as long as well. Just again, think about this. If the swales are being maintained by them, I know our storm sewer, we maintain it, okay? Usually when issues happen are things when they don't get maintained, all right? That would be the only thing that I see is usually when we have a complaint with stormwater, we go out there, and then if we see something in the ditches like build up of leaves, something happens, a tree falls down, that ditch maintenance is on them, not on us, all right? But I've seen it work well in both ways.
What's your Tom, anything?
Yeah, how typical, not knowing, but most new developments I see are the curb and gutter. How
yeah.
typical is something like this for newer development?
Like I said, the only ones that we've done recently, if you go Madison Court, and those are about 2 to 5 acres, and Baszler Court are about 2 to 5 acres. But again, you understand there's septic, there are wells, they're even propane gas because there's not even gas out there. That would be more on the west side where you get that feel of the rural, where you have it. Again, this would be something different. Even to the last couple of developments that you would see from John Jewell. Let's think of Waters Court, Apple Hills, even Dunoon Country North on that west side. All of them have a curb and gutter. And that was more of like his request. It can provide a cleaner appearance. And some people like that more than the others. Does that make sense? Those are like kind of the examples that if you can picture that, those are the smaller ones that are like 10 lots, 12 lots. Apple Hills is 9 lots, all have curb and gutter. So.
And am I right to understand the only reason they requested curb and gutter initially was because of the lot size kind of forced them to?
Yeah, it forced them to. They had to do it, and also with the conservation lots, stuff like that. So why they're here is to request that is because, like I said, lots are bigger and they can make that request. So, yep.
What was the impact of the August storm on that area?
No clue. It's a farm field. I have no clue.
It was wet.
It was just wet, but did I get a complaint about someone over there? Nope.
No.
Nope. And really, to tell you the truth, most things with the August storm was really Woods Road and north. To tell you the truth, a lot of things didn't happen Woods Road to south.
Yeah.
So just to let you know. Yeah. Jim is the engineer for the developer. Jim, can you check to see if it's on? Just up, if you push it.
Forward,
Yep. I'll see. Nope.
pull towards you.
Okay.
Reading glasses to see that. Scott did a good job covering pretty much everything why we were here. To answer your question, when we did get that big storm, I was up in Sheboygan for a wedding. First thing I did was when I came down, I checked the road to see if it topped over Bryant Drive, because that was part of our equation when we were doing our calculations for the stormwater, and it didn't. It looked like it was about a foot from topping the road. So it did. I mean, that wetland complex did a nice job holding water back. But just to answer that, I mean, just to start off, we like the looks of the curb and gutter too. But to get that, we had to put in that path, which shows up on the 19 lot layout. That path, we could only get a permit to fill a portion of it. The rest was gonna be a boardwalk. And then the rest of it that wasn't boardwalk had to be built to ATC standards, which was essentially a public street. That added about $600,000 to the project. So when we first came in for our request for the 19 lots, we didn't know if it was gonna be a gravel path or what we get permits. So had we known it was gonna be $600,000, we probably would have went that route.
Hey, Jim, can you speak more into the microphone?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So
Thanks.
I start from the beginning?
No, just,
So that's really why we came, why we're here. So we're looking at a way to cut costs. I know you might not care about the costs, but these guys do. And, we got a chance to put 15 lots in the city of Muskego. And this would be one way to get it. But if we're able to use roadside ditches, we eliminate the curb and the storm sewer. We'll still have culverts, and we understand that. But it's possible to save, $300,000-$400,000 by going with the roadside ditches. And it does help with stormwater. The streets are actually fairly flat in this subdivision, 2% streets. So water has a chance to infiltrate and slow down. So the runoff is better in the roadside ditch. So our ponds could, run the calculations, should be able to be smaller.
I have a couple of questions. I'm looking at a map here. I'm not sure where the path is that you talk about, but that's besides the point. Who?
I can show you.
Okay.
And again, try not to get too involved with the path, because the fact is we're just here for curb and gutter, but the path would have been right here, going all the way across, all the way through here. So Boxhorn's on one side, Ryan's on the other side, as I'm showing the map here. This right here is all wetlands, and because it's under the ATC power line, you have to have a boardwalk, and you have to build it to a certain standard. And that standard causes it to increase in cost.
Who forced the path upon the project?
That project and that path was discussed, and it was one of the ways why they did a conservation site, and it allowed them to get the 4 extra lots.
It was an amenity we were offering.
Yeah.
To get those 4 extra lots, which at the time seemed like a pretty good deal, but then once that price came in.
Does that make sense? It's one of the things what you do when you do a conservation subdivision.
Okay, and by taking those 4 lots away in the proposal, that doesn't, the path that they were offering when it was the 19 lots, there's no change to that.
So again, they would have to all go back to plan commission and follow through. Again, you're just here to look at the ditch and culverts, but I'm assuming if you go back to the 15 lots, there's no path, there's no conservation, they don't get the extra 4 bonus lots. And that I'm assuming what plan commission would recommend.
All right, and then one more question to you. When you do curb and gutter versus ditch, I mean, what do you notice a difference in lot price or anything like that? Like when you go to sell the lots?
Well, the help this was having the sewer water, all the sewer water, that's what helps a lot of prices. The curb and gutter is just primarily. I think the curb and gutter look, right, in the city water. What's that ditches, you're on the country on 1 acre lot.
Well, I know that area really well. And I have concerns about us not maintaining those gutters because we've had so many issues all throughout the city with stuff like that. Personally, I would like to see the curb and gutter. I would love to see the path still there, but I understand it's pricey. I would prefer to see the curb and gutter.
Go ahead.
Anybody else?
I need a clarification. Now, the boardwalk cost is associated with the 19 lots. You can avoid the boardwalk cost by going back to the 15 lots. Is that correct? Okay. And the boardwalk is projected to cost about 600,000?
Now we're going from 19 lots to 15 lots. So there's a decrease in revenue by selling the lots. So that's why we can get rid of the curb and gutter and go with like this, there's a savings there. And then the numbers start making sense. But if we could just take away the boardwalk and see it 19 lots, if we have it,
And remember, we're just talking about ditches, the curb and gutter. I'm giving you the history of it because at the time, both of you weren't on Public Works. You weren't even an older person when this first went through. So we are giving a little bigger picture. But think about it this way. We're just giving the request. They're going to come back and do a 15 yield. You do a curb and gutter. And why your decision then gets council is then they move forward, and that's how they define the rest of their engineering. They're going to have to resubmit engineering. They're going to have to go back to plan commission. They're going to have to do all the steps. It's like starting over. But from their side, what I'm trying to help them out is that cost difference, which is huge. As developments happen, I'm letting you know costs are getting out of control, both for when things we buy from municipality and when developers develop. So this is just for them, it comes down to kind of a cost savings thing. And this is one way that they can do it. And this is one rule where they can come here and make that request to Public Works and Safety, just about doing a rural cross section, which is ditches, over the curb and gutter. So I gave you a little history, but kind of like focus on that one request. So.
And Scott,
Yeah.
the future development, I mean, there's obviously going to be future development around. There's a lot of open land.
Yeah.
We're expecting that that's all going to be curb and gutter as well. That's the way.
I would assume, since sewer and water there, and to get the density, that they would probably do less than 1 acres, which again will kick in for the curb and gutter. Because the idea is when you buy a piece of land, you want to try to put the density on there. That gives the developers the biggest bang for the buck, which means they're doing under 1 acre, which means we're doing it. Again, that's not always the case, but most time when you buy land and it's expensive, you're trying to get your return and you're trying to get as many lots as possible. Yep.
Question. So right now, the alternatives look to be if 19 lots, curb and gutter. If 15 lots, no curb and gutter. Is 15 lots with curb and gutter an option?
Well, if you guys deny it here, that's the only option that they're going to have for 15 lots.
Well, I thought the option was 15 lots with no curb and gutter.
Yes, but if you say 15 lots with curb and gutter, that is what they're going to have to go with.
that's where the numbers.
Okay.
Curb and gutter, then you put a storm sewer, and the numbers start to knock it off.
So with 15 lots with curb and gutter, the numbers don't work out very well for the developer? That's what you're saying? Okay.
I don't have an issue with the request.
Okay, then
What is it? When you're not
Oh,
having,
you have to speak in there.
when you're not having an issue with the request, Tom, what are the requests from the city?
No, the request from them is to go to 15 lots with ditches versus curb and gutter. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Is he making a formal,
yeah, are you making a formal
are
motion?
you making a motion for it?
I make a motion that we allow them to go to 15 lots with ditches instead of curb and gutter.
Second? Is there a second?
I'm willing to second that, but I want to ask another question. Is there a way we can require, if they go to 15, that an HOA be put in place that will actually do the job that needs to be done?
They have to put it in HOA, it has to be put in the language, so that'll be on the plat, and it'll be if you look back in their common council rule, the yellow one, okay? The city should, the ditches section shall be maintained. Furthermore, the restrictions outlining this responsibility for this maintenance shall be recorded in a developer's agreement, approved the city's common council concurrent with the final land division document. It will be right on probably the plat, and that's how we do it. It was, for example, on Basler's, it was on a CSM because they only needed a CSM because they were only doing 5 lots. Does that make sense? You guys are gonna have to do a plat. On that plat, it will have that language on there so that it will become like they have to do this, all right? Yep. It will be all on that stuff, but the plat is the most important thing that it'll be on, so.
What did you just say? Say it again, please.
The deed restrictions for development that they create is approved by the city, will have language in there too.
Oh, okay.
But the most important for us is the plat. The plat is that legal recorded document that is in there. Just let everyone know.
And that's for everybody to see.
Yep. Sees it, yep.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. Everybody vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? No. Okay, passes 2-1.
All right, remember, this is going to, I'll try to get on Finance Common Council as soon as I can for just or Common Council for the final vote. All right?
Yep.
Now, remember, even when they get this, guys, they have to go all the way back through all plan commission. They'll be back then here with full engineering plans again, just to let you know, it's starting over, okay? Yeah,
that works for you? Okay.
all right,
All right.
yep.
Communications and miscellaneous business is authorized by law. Looking for an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:06.